Good morning. I'm gonna like to call the Highway and Waterways and Building Committee meeting to order of Thursday, January 16, 2025. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Carrico,
Present.
Mr. Marion, Mr. Tholen, Ms. Parker,
Present.
Mr. Swanson, Mr. Featherling,
Present.
Mr. Dunno, Mr. Miller,
Present.
Mr. Kirkstra,
Present.
Mr. Smith,
Present.
Miss Ripmanick Emmy, Miss Amber Turner, Mr. Crutcher, Mr. Nims,
Present.
Miss Denise Turner, Mr. Alexander Hildebrand, Mr. Long.
Present.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to allow Ms. Parker in. Okay. I think Smith made first. Okay. And then you got the second one? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to rearrange the agenda to move old business, new business, and other business down after 12 or after 11, after buildings.
Okay. Well, what I would like to do is ask if you could amend your motion to move only old business and new business after the 11, the item 11.
Okay.
And then we'll keep the other business because it belongs to the
Yeah,
waterways.
Okay.
Is that okay with
Sure.
you?
That's good. Thank you.
And can I have a second? Okay, with Amy, second. Everybody in favor signify by saying.
To
Go ahead.
rearrange the, change the agenda to put old business and new business at the bottom after 11 buildings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Everybody in
Sorry.
favor.
No, that's okay.
Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Same sign. Okay. Thank you. Is there any public comments? I don't have any public comments on my desk. Is there any public comments? Hear none. Next will be approval of the minutes from December 12, 2024. Need a motion on the second. Okay.
Parker.
Ms. Sterner, second by Ms. Parker. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Same sign. Okay. Motion carries. All right. Next will be the biddings and the lettings.
None.
Do you have none?
None.
Okay. There's no bidding, no letting. All right. Moving on to the county engineer's pay estimate. And I need a motion in a second to combine and to waive the reading. Okay, so here is Ms. Donald. And second by Ms. Turner. Everybody in favor? Second. Aye. Thank you. Anybody opposed? Same sign. All right. So, do you have any comments on this before we go ahead and ask for motion to vote on the pay estimates? Oh no.
Nope. I'll answer questions.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the pay estimates? Comment or question? Okay. So then I need a motion and a second to approve the county engineer pay estimates. Can I have a motion and a second, please? Ms. Fredolin, second by Mr. Smith. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico,
Aye.
Ms. Parker,
Aye.
Mr. Featherling,
Aye.
Mr. Dunno,
Aye.
Mr. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Miss Ripmanick Emmy, Miss Amber Turner, Mr. Crutcher, Mr. Nims, Mr. Hildebrand.
Thank you. Moving on to resolutions. We have 3 resolutions on the agenda right now. The first one here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and have Greg just give a little update on that one for us, please?
Okay, this is a yearly resolution we pass that we need to send IDOT that appropriates our MFT money that we receive. So this dollar amount you see here is real close to what we receive yearly in MFT money, and this is the first step they require. After they approve this, then we actually send them an estimate of maintenance costs, which shows them where we're spending this money, and they need to approve that too. So this is the first step in the process to spending our 2025 MFT money.
Okay, so let me have a motion and a second on that to start, and then you guys can start asking questions or have any comments on it. If I have a motion, Mr. Miller, second by, okay, Ms. Donald. Okay, any questions, any comments about this resolution? Questions or comments? No? I need a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Mr. Featherling?
Aye.
Mr. Dunno?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Emmy? Ms. Turner? Mr. Crutcher? Mr. Nims? Ms. Denise Turner? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Motion carried.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is a declaration of the Highway Department equipment as surplus property. Do we have any comments on that one?
Not really. I can describe it all. One's a mower we replaced. We got new mowers last year, so we're farming out one of them. We bought a new steel drum roller last year, so the old one's we're going to sell that. Cold planer is something that grinds the surface of the asphalt off. You put it on a skid steer and we can grind off for patches and stuff like that. That's what the cold planer is. We got a new one last year, so this one's expendable.
Okay, let me have a motion on the second, please. Okay, Featherland, second by, okay, Emmy. Any questions, any comments on this one? No? So there will be everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign. Thank you. Moving on. Next, go ahead, sir.
All right, this one costs a little bit more money, but it's a needed exercise. I talked to the board last year about all the bridges we need to design and improve, and this is just part of the beginning of the process for 2 more this year. We had 4 sent to design last year. One's actually in construction, and we're planning on probably getting another 4, but these are just 2 bridges on County Line Road, on the Will County Line Road. They're, a couple miles within each other, so we bundled them together and try to get a lower price from a consultant, and we did. The amount of $148,000, I don't see the dollar amount here, $750, and that's actually cheaper than we had a couple last year that went for $79,000 each. So we're getting some savings by having one consultant design both, that they're right in the same neighborhood, and we don't have 2 guys running around in each other's way. So, and that's what I need approval of the resolution so we can sign to get the design engineer going on plans for replacing those bridges.
Let me, okay, is that you making a motion? Okay, Mr. Donald.
I'd like to second that motion.
Oh.
Okay, Ms. Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Questions, comments? Any questions, any comments? No? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Mr. Featherling?
Aye.
Mr. Dunno?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra? Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Emmy? Ms. Amber Turner? Mr. Crutcher? Mr. Nims? Ms. Denise Turner? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand. Motion carried.
Thank you. Moving on to other businesses. We're gonna be talking a little bit about, give an update on the river equipment storage. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, this story started last year when we started buying equipment to maintain the river, and it was a lot of equipment, and it started showing up, and we started moving things around. At some point, we ran out of room, and then it was panic time for me because winter's coming, snow's falling, and we needed to keep this stuff a brand new baby. We don't want to have it sitting out in the elements. So, thanks to our chairman, Matt Alexander Hildebrand, who got together with the sheriff, Mr. Downey, they were able to come together on an agreement to allow us to store our equipment down at the jail. They have an unused portion of the jail undercover and secured with a garage door, and I'm happy to say that there's no snow on our equipment. I included a couple of pictures in the packet, and before you ask, some of that it doesn't look like river equipment, but that was put there to make room for some of the river equipment. So there's a lot of equipment there, and I just want to thank Matt and Mike for making this happen, because I was sweating, and I usually reserve that for the summertime.
All right, Mr. Featherland.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it was great we were able to come up with some space like that. I don't know how long we'll be able to use it, but it's a really important thing that we're able to do that. Thanks for working it out, Matt and Greg.
I'm glad we all got to work together and come to an agreement, and I'm thrilled silly.
Because it'd take you 2 years to design a building and be able to get in it and use it, probably a year and a half, 2 years. So,
Anybody else? I have a question. How many more equipments are we waiting for delivery right now?
Equipment we're waiting for is still outstanding. We're awaiting a semi-tractor to pull our lowboy. That's scheduled sometime this month, last I heard. I want to say pending weather or whatever, acts of nature. We're awaiting a chipper, a full tree chipper, which that's scheduled in the next couple months. And I think that is on our current list of what we're expecting. If something new shows up, I don't know about it yet.
Mr. Featherland?
wasn't there a pontoon boat and some other things that were supposed to be in that too? I thought we had that, and then we got a bus. What happened to the bus?
Ben's going to talk about that.
Okay.
I talk about all the highway department equipment, and
Okay.
he gets all the rest.
Okay.
Morning. So, no, right now, the equipment delivery is the exact list we're working off of. I mean, I think probably from a position of caution, I don't know exactly how much a building is going to cost right now. We want to make sure we're getting, the key needed equipment there. We've been working with McCullough, obviously, on aroma sediment removal. There's specific barge dredge equipment that we potentially could be purchasing, but we want to work with the experts on this one. We have a partnership in Indiana with the River Commission, and actually the chairman, vice chairman, and I were able to meet with Scott Pelath and talk a little bit about what type of equipment they're using. But for us, it's kind of a little bit of a learning experience, and we actually really do have a great partner with McCullough Excavating to talk a little bit about the types of equipment we need, where we did put a list together. We're working off of that list, but we want to make sure we're buying the exact right pieces of equipment and not running out of money to then not be able to afford the building at the end of this, where, I mean, ultimately, I think the next step for us would be, find a location, design and build a building, see how much money's left after that, and then buy the last few pieces of equipment.
Questions? Anybody? Okay. Go ahead, sir.
So I'm just curious, in between all these equipment deliveries and building plans and such, are we also planning to start having people trained to actually start to get some of this work done?
Greg will answer a little bit about as equipment gets delivered, sometimes we receive training. But I will say it's our intent through working with McCullough to have some of our staff on site shadowing the work that they're doing. But I mean, and Greg can tell you, when we get a piece of equipment delivered, typically they'll offer us training on that piece of equipment. Obviously, our 150 operators are very skilled in the equipment they're using currently, but as new equipment comes in, typically that's a component of the purchase.
Right. The most interesting piece of equipment was the aerial crane. No one had run one of those before, but we had 4 guys train on that. And when we actually start using it, they'll come down and give us a little bit more in-depth training. They'll actually sit there and babysit us while we cut down a tree or whatever we need to do. Excavator, we got people that know how to run the excavator already. They, in previous jobs, they've had the experience. And as for the river equipment, that's something we will need training on. And like Ben mentioned, we'll be looking over the contractor's shoulder when he starts dredging out at Aroma Park.
And I guess it's important to remember, as Mr. Carrico continues to work with the River Advisory Committee to talk about projects that could be utilizing the $7 million worth of equipment, that will be forwarded through as recommendations to this body, where you will then be able to vote on what types of work we need to do. A lot of it involves access right now, and there's some steps we need to take on that end. So that kind of is working parallel with this process. But I would expect as the weather gets warmer, we'll have some partners who are interested in having us remove trees and clean up areas on their properties, that we'll be able to get our teams out and work on that this upcoming spring and summer.
Thank you, that's what I was leading up to.
Anybody else? Okay. Moving on. Aroma Park Sediment Management Project update. What do you have for us?
Last I recall, we received the bond and the contract from the. I'm looking at Ben because they probably got sent to him, but the contractor's been sending us forms in order for us to award the contract, and I'm not sure we're there yet, but we're getting close.
All right.
Yeah, so we're working with Burke Engineering right now to finalize contract documents. We received an email yesterday or this morning from McCullough, kind of following up on a couple items. As we talk through this process, it's a lot. One of the questions that came up at our site visit was whether or not we wanted to utilize the ramp for access for the river. We don't own the park, we don't own the ramp, so we have to talk with our partner to see if that's something they want to do. If any changes need to be made to that, we then have to amend our permit. So really, it's kind of are we able to do it, and then a recommendation will be made to the county leadership as to what probably our best process would be. I don't know that dramatically amending our permit would be in our best interest right now. We'll have to get some feedback from McCullough on that about kind of how that access works. So as far as the project's concerned, we had a very positive site visit. We met with leadership from the county, from Aroma Park, from Aroma Fire, to talk a little bit about what's happening out at the site. It was a very positive go. Having Shannon McCullough in town was really fantastic. I haven't seen him do any work yet, but just talking with the man, he knows everything you would need to know about dredging the river. So more updates to come on that. But yeah, we're kind of working through the paperwork side of it right now.
Questions, anybody? No? Thank you, Ben. Next is the Kankakee County Waterways and Advisory Subcommittee update. Once is if anybody's interested in knowing what they are doing and how they are working on things and talking and make any suggestions or recommendations to this committee, they're going to be meeting again on the first Thursday of February at 8:30 a.m. here. So you're welcome to come and listen to their proposals and conversation at the meeting. So the other thing I want to ask you about, they had made a recommendation in December, and we talked about was the document that we'll be working with. Do you have any update on that to authorize the working with the residents around the?
I haven't heard anything new.
No. Okay. Because I think that you had already talked to the state's attorney's office to see how that could be done, right?
Right, and that we haven't met lately.
Then they have something. I don't know.
I just want to, if I can, offer some clarity for the committee. So our partners in Indiana have a law that allows them to access the riverbanks, and that is not the way the law works here in Illinois. So one of the recommendations from the advisory committee or commission was to put together a blanket document that we can put through our legal, where we can identify, what we would be doing, offer the protection to that individual resident as they said, hey, we've got some, bank access you could use, you could come through our property. Obviously, if we tear up their yard, we want to make sure we're, seeding them back, kind of making them whole. So we want to lay all of those things out, establish our hold harmless, identify the insurance requirements. So that way, as we go to this, we have one document that we could quickly deploy that will be approved, at the board level, and then we'd be able to just deploy that as needed. So we wouldn't have to go back and do individual agreements every time. So that is a document we'll need to work with the state's attorney's office. I have briefed John in the state's attorney's office about it. We haven't finalized any document as far as getting it out to you for review and approval.
Okay, but you are the one working with them, trying to get some
Yes.
stuff? Okay, all right. I just want to see where I can get some more information next time. So, because you're planning to start the project in spring, correct? Is that correct?
We're planning to utilize our staff as their schedule is available, right? So we're talking about using highway staff. They've got highway projects they need to do, so we're going to be coordinating around their construction schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, we could build a couple locations where, let's say, by March 1st, we have a document prepared for review, for this board, so say maybe approved in April, where we'd be able to go to the owners and say, if we can get 3 or 4 landowners that want us to remove trees, have those lined up. That way we could give them some idea of a schedule, but ultimately the highway staff is going to be doing highway work. We will be utilizing them to do some of this work, but we don't have an abundance of funds to pay their salaries. So we're going to try and kind of pick those special projects, make sure we're removing the things we need to remove from the river and the hazards that we have. So again, it's like the balance between advisory committee saying, hey, there's some targeted areas versus accessibility versus time for our staff. So we're trying to kind of balance all of that as the year goes out.
Right. I know that the time, it's not set in stone. It's just like, I'm just getting an idea. I know we have to work with different things, availability of workers, and,
Yeah, I'm trying not to overpromise to say on, by the end of the spring, we'll have removed X number of trees or anything like that.
Yeah, we're not promising anything.
Yeah, the goal from the senator in making this equipment available to us is to start working on projects that will benefit our river and ultimately benefit all of the residents and visitors of Kankakee County. Those projects have not necessarily been identified, and I think that's where this the subcommittee is really helpful. But also then, as we get that, we get a priority list. You vote on that priority list, and then we'll work through it as we can at the staff level.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I guess it's important to remember that the $7 million is a very different project than the sediment removal, right. and we're so that is on a whole different timeline with a whole different contractor. The equipment is our staff working on river work, and we were currently working on access launches with Mr. Piggish for design. With that $7 million, we bought equipment with that $7 million. We ultimately need to build a building with that $7 million, and all of that is wholly separate from the Aroma Park sediment removal.
Mm-hmm. Questions, comments? No? Thank you. All right. Do we have anything else for us?
I have nothing else.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Have a great day. Next, buildings. Mr. Workman. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is well. I'll make it quick and painless if I can. Start off, our facility dude, we did 107 work orders last month. 18 are still in progress, and there will be some of those on my other notes here. As you can see, you have the financial report in front of you. We're a little bit below on some items, and that's good for the start of the first year. We hope to keep that down. Can't always promise that as different jobs come through and things that may break or not break come into effect. Building report, the courthouse, the annex, and ICANN building, there's nothing going on at this time. Everything has been good over the last 30 days since the last meeting. Here in 189, the assessor's door is actually going in today. We talked about that last month, that they had held off on it, waiting for the door to arrive. It has arrived, and they're trying to get that in place today. It should be working via the keypad, hopefully in the next couple of days once they get it installed. The old jail, as we talked last month, we were having some issues with one of the water heaters. It is no longer available to replace the thermal combustion chamber on that. So we have looked into replacing the overall system. There's 3 tanked systems there now, and with them being obsolete, we cannot replace them at a cost compared to going to a tankless system. The tankless system will be much better. We're going to talk about putting in 4 tankless and a reserve. It'll be on a circulatory system as well, so when they call for hot water, it's on demand. The cost of that is below the threshold of getting a bid on, and we think that that is, after a coalition of people talking about it and coming to an agreement, we think that is the best way at this point, and it's also more cost efficient. If something happens down the road, they just pull one unit out, replace it with another at a very low cost. It is a 10-year warranty on the new system, so we shouldn't have any issues. The old system is from 2011, and them are tanked units. We are still going to remain with one in place that is still good as a backup to, if the system needs repaired or something happens in the future, we can always revert back to one of the tanks that is there currently. It will also save us money because they're high efficient compared to the old tanks being non-efficient. At JCDC, the Max D RTU heating unit is in place. It's running fine. No issues since we got that going. Sea dorms are underway. We have gone in there and recaulked, and the painting people are there cleaning the walls down now. The issues we were having that we found were that the block, after the paint and the primer had wore off after all these years, the water was seeping into the block, and it was going into the gymnasium and other areas of the building. We have found that those walls are slugged, so that's what we feel that the problem was, is that seepage through the bare block. So they are in there currently. They're going to start painting those on Monday. They're cleaning them up right now, and we're going to get those painted, and we're going to spruce up that dorm as well, because there's nobody in there, no inmates currently. So we might as well do some changing of tiles, touching up some paint on other areas, and once they go back in there, we don't have to worry about it again. Once we get done with C dorm, we're going to move on and do the same thing in B dorm. It'll probably be about a 3-week break before we move on to the next one, and hopefully that'll eliminate all of the cells and the showers leaking. It really needed it. I wish I had some pictures for you, but after 20 years of water beating against a wall that has paint on it, it wore it off. Animal control, we were having, as I spoke last month, we were having some issues with the outside kennels. I don't mean outside. They're inside, but they are outside of the office areas, and they have the guillotine doors, and we were losing a lot of heat, and they just weren't keeping up to par as far as what we'd like those to be as a tepid temperature. White has engaged, that is the construction builder, in bringing down 2 temporary units. They are paying a cost on renting them until we come to a resolution of what we want to do to supplement the heat out there and keep it at a regulated temperature for those animals. They also brought out a mock door yesterday. We're having some issues with the dogs destructing a little bit of the stucco on the outside of the building, but they brought out a mock door yesterday. It is wrapping the doors, and it also has a drop-down door system on it to also help supplement the air from going through the guillotine doors. We both know there's no real way of controlling that. You can't put a seal on a guillotine door. It's going to slide up and down. The new one is a drop-down on a piano hinge. It's going to have a little bit of seal on it, and it'll get pinned in every night, and then in the morning they'll open them up and pin them up, and hopefully that'll keep some of that extreme cold from going into that kennel area. As you can see, we are declaring office chairs in the basement of 189 as surplus, as well as the vehicle sitting in the downstairs garage. The chairs we no longer need. We're going to scrap them and collect the money back from the metals on that. The vehicle is going to be sold on auction. Last thing is that we are acquiring a mower / brush / plow from the city of Kankakee. It's a smaller unit. It's a ride-on unit. We could use that out at JCDC, and it's good for 4 seasons. So we can use it in many aspects of mowing during the summer if we need extra help with that, plowing in the winter, and brushing sidewalks if we need the extra help in that if a heavier snow comes. Like I said, we're acquiring it from the city of Kankakee. I went and looked at it. It's been in the works for a couple of months. Wes was looking at it before I come on board, and the sheriff and the city of Kankakee are going to try to come to an agreement. He has some vehicles that are going to go into surplus as well. They're looking into maybe working out a deal that we get that at a cost of a vehicle going to them. So that'll save us some money of actually acquiring it personally. That's all I have. Any questions or concerns?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, may I ask Ted a question, please?
Sure.
Going back to animal control, do you anticipate a timeline on replacing those doors?
The doors?
Yes, the
mock door.
regulation doors.
Yeah. I talked to Carrie yesterday afternoon, and we're going to get back to white. We have to adjust them a little bit. I seen maybe an issue or two on how they were made. It was just a quick one for them because they wanted to get something on the roll.
Right.
If we get an approval to go ahead and do it, we have to have a meeting with White and find out who's going to pay for it first off.
Exactly. That was my next question.
Yeah, so we're going to do a Zoom, and we're going to try doing something where we can kind of find out if some of the contingency money that they actually brought back to us, or if White is going to come out right because they built the building, and they're going to try being the best at taking care of the situation. They've been very, very good about responding. Most of the time, I'm not calling them; they're actually calling me first. So they're doing their job very, very well. As far as a timeline, we both know that the parts for what they're going to consider the unit's cost and efficiency to make up that supplemental air, they're like a 6 to 8 week out process, but that's why they went ahead and agreed to pay for the rental units to keep that place temperature controlled until we can come up with a real solution on all this matter.
Absolutely. I was just worried about the dogs and the cold air on them.
They're good right now. I was out there yesterday morning. I was out there again today. The kennels are in the 50s. So we're going to try to get that a little bit further up the board if we can with the new door systems on the outside as well. There'll be a sealed system, so it'll keep a lot more of that air from coming in.
Good. Thanks for everything you do, Ted. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Mr. Hildebrand?
We need a motion and a second to declare the equipment and vehicle
Oh, sorry.
surplus.
I know.
Okay.
I jumped aboard.
So you say they're at 50 right now. What's the projected temperature in there?
I don't actually know that question. I can get back to you on that. I could call Carrie and find out if there's an actual state regulated, like the prisons and correctional facilities.
Gotcha.
I just don't know that answer at this time.
Okay.
All right. Now, the way I like to do this, which unfortunately we went straight through from the reports and to the declaration of surplus, we have 3 reports here. And the way I would like to start doing it is to have a motion to combine and combine and accept those reports as presented first before we go to the next item. So I need a motion to combine, Mr. Donald, motion to combine and accept the 3 reports as presented. Second by Mr. Smith. Everybody in favor, signify by say aye. Anybody opposed? Same sign. Okay, now we move on to the declaration that he already gave the explanation. Do you have any questions on that or any other comments? Anybody else? No? So I need a motion and a second for the declaration of surplus office equipment and the vehicle.
Parker,
Okay, Mr. Miller. I'm going to go ahead and go with Mr. Denise Turner here this time.
okay.
Okay, there will be a roll call, please. For the surplus, I'm sorry. Yeah, just everybody in favor, signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign. Yeah, we're not spending any money on this. We're just getting. What's your number, sir?
I think it's number 7.
Go ahead, sir.
You know, I'm not sure we put the old jail thing to bed. We spent a lot of money through ARPA to upgrade the building. Ted, did you have any comments to kind of tell us what happened there, especially about the cement siding and stuff?
That was completed. They found the issues with the slabs on the outside of the building. They found that those are intact and they're not going to move. So what they did instead of removing them and putting them back on the building is they pinned them in place. I think I talked about that last month, and so they were still underneath of what they thought the extra would be, and then that's all done. The caulking's done. Everything is done at the old jail as far as that work progress.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Is there any old business? Any old business? For this one, because we had to have old business for both. Is any other business or anything else to be brought before this committee? No? I need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Fadlin, second by. Okay. Mr. Turner. Everybody in favor, signify by say aye. Anybody opposed? Same sign. Okay, have a great day. Thank you.